Brrr. It's getting cold out there. Come in, sit down, warm up by my fire, and enjoy day 12 of 25 Days of Christmas Comics. You know, if I was doing the 12 Days of Christmas Comics, this would be the last episode. But you know what? The dude loves you way too much to just give you a measly old 12 days. I'm giving you 13 more days. You're getting 25 days of Christmas comics. That's 25 more days of Christmas comics than any other comic book YouTuber on the interwebs. So, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I am excited about this episode because this is one of my favorite Christmas comics. I just enjoy it tremendously because it's a really good read, and I hope that you will enjoy it as well. This comic tonight, Green Lantern Larfleeze Christmas Special. I came across this comic in a dollar bin, and I had no clue it even existed. And I was buying Green Lantern at the time that this came out, and I don't know how I missed this book. So let's get into it, shall we? For those of you that don't know who Larfleeze is, he is the only Orange Lantern, and the Orange Lantern is the emotional spectrum that it operates on. The emotion that it operates on is avarice, just like greed, and Larfleeze is so greedy that he will not share that power with anybody else. So that's why he's the only Orange Lantern. So let's begin, shall we? This story is called Orange You Glad It's Christmas. Some questionable readers may tell you that Christmas has become nothing but a crass, commercialized, capitalist concoction, and to that I argue invariably every holiday season. But perhaps what Christmas needs is a fresh pair of eyes to sense the magic of this winter festival. So let's take a trip through the holiday season with a creature of unquenchable avarice. Traveling from far across the universe to Earth, the Orange Lantern, known as Larfleeze, has discovered the existence of a powerful being who bestows gifts to everyone on December 25th. Making Earth his new home, Larfleeze eagerly has counted down the moments to Christmas morning when he'll get all he's put on his list from the all-powerful and all-seeing guardian known as Santa Claus. So our story starts Front Branch, Minnesota, the junkyard of Larfleeze. He literally lives on a junkyard because he has so much crap. It wasn't a junkyard, it's a home, but he's turned it into a junkyard because of the amount of crap he's got. So he's asleep, and he kind of wakes up, and he sees what time it is, and he says, "By Sinestro's whiskers, it's finally here." And he gets up, and he's super excited, and he's like, "Oh, lovely giving Christmas, the most wonderful, amazing, gluttonous day of the entire year." He grabs his ginormous Christmas list. Says, "The day every hairless being on this strange but alluring planet is given whatever they desire. Come, Glomulus." That's his little orange construct partner that he has. And he's rushing downstairs with his list. He says, "It's time to open my presents. Why, it shouldn't take more than 18 hours to unpeel each one of my gifts from this list. perhaps 20 if the rat waffle cheese wheels are individually wrapped. And then there's the stocking. Oh, the suspense of not knowing which presents were placed where. And when we're done uncovering my gifts, we'll feast alongside the greatest present of them all, the last and best on my list. This will be the most swollen day my stomach can remember. And Glomulus says, wee! And he says, yours as well, my gelatinous spud-shaped servant. And then he looks under the tree and he just yells, no! We've been robbed! The presents are gone! Who would dare steal from me? Who would steal from the almighty Santa Claus? And they're ripping through their stockings and they're empty. And then he says, wait. And he goes to the milk and cookies. He says, the Christmas barter. The cookies we left out for the red-suited giant. The cookies are still here. The cookies, the milk, the undisturbed soot in the chimney. Why, I'm beginning to suspect Santa Claus never came at all. Why wouldn't he come? I made my list. I put up lights and stockings and the strange offering I've been told he demands. I even built this cabin to house my presents and a chimney to signal him here. Where is he? And then on the TV, we see a Christmas parade. And they hear, here he is, boys and girls, straight from his long journey last night. Santa Claus. And Larfleeze is pissed. So he fashions a sleigh and a couple reindeer from his ring and heads to the parade. And he gets there and he's like, Santa Claus, where are my things? And he picks up Santa and freaks the crap out of everybody in the crowd. And he's like, I know you are mighty and powerful, but so am I. And as they're flying through the air, Santa's fake beard flies off and slaps against Glomulus. And he's like, you're not him. You're but a decoy. Where's the real Santa Claus? And then he sees a Santa running into this store called DC's Store and Stuff. He's like, I see you. And he runs in. He dives in with his sleigh. He's like, you can't hide from me. I demand restitution. He's chasing this Santa. And then he turns around the corner and Larfleeze is just astonished. And he goes, what trickery is this? Is there no end to the lengths Santa Claus will go to deceive me? And he's just facing like 50 dudes dressed up as Santa because they are at the costume return in the store. He says, which of you is the real Santa Claus? Tell me before I spill your innards. And a little boy goes, I know where Santa Claus is. And his dad's like, shut up. And he gets in the kid's face and he's like, tell me, child, or suffer my wrath. And the kid goes, everyone knows the real Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. And Larfleeze asks, which way is that? Then we, in the North Pole, see Larfleeze looking for Santa Claus. He's looked for hours, and he's wondering where the factories of gingerbread and candy canes are. Where are all the singing elves and the reindeer? And where is Santa Claus? And he's yelling for Santa to show himself. Show yourself before I turn your land into steam. And then Hal Jordan Green Lantern shows up. He says, we've got enough problems with the ice melting on its own, Larfleeze, so holster the ring. And he makes this construct of some giant woolly creature to hold Larfleeze. And Larfleeze is like, have you come here to protect Santa? Because I will kill you if you stand in my way. He says, I don't doubt you'll try, but you'd be throwing away your energy for nothing. And if I know one thing about you, it's that you hate doing anything for nothing. And Larfleeze asks him why he's interfering. And he's like, because you terrorized a Christmas parade and a department store full of people, and now you're threatening to melt the North Pole. I can only tolerate so much before the truce we made doesn't apply. Especially on Christmas, I've got friends and family waiting for me. So what's your problem? And he holds out his list. He's like, this is my problem. And Green Lantern's like, your Christmas list? And Larfleeze is like, you told me if I was good, I'd get everything on this list. I followed your terrestrial rules, mostly, yet Santa Claus brings me nothing. And Hal Jordan breaks his little heart and tells him that Santa's not real. And he accuses him of trying to hide Earth's greatest asset. And he's like, bro, every 6-year-old knows that Santa's not real. It's a story. It's made up. And he's like, why? And he's like, for fun. And so Hal tells him that today's not about Santa Claus. It's about having Christmas spirit. And having Christmas spirit is the most important thing. And Larfleeze is like, having Christmas spirit. Tell me, how does one get this Christmas spirit? So then we go to Larfleeze's home. And Larfleeze is like, what are we doing back here? What are you looking at? Hal says, I thought your collection was just a pile of junk. But looking closer, he has a little girl construct that is looking through Larfleeze's crap. And she pulls out a stuffed dinosaur. And Hal says, I see presents. So Hal tells Larfleeze that he'll show him how to get Christmas spirit. And Hal says, Christmas isn't about making that pile of stuff in your backyard bigger. It's about giving to those who actually need. It's about the exact opposite of the power that flows through your ring. It's about generosity. And the panels here show that they've donated all these toys to all these kids in need. And Hal continues and he says, and when you use generosity to make others smile, that means you have Christmas spirit. And right now, thanks to giving all your stuff away, you have it. And Larfleeze looks at his home, at his land, and there's almost nothing left. And he says, I don't think I like Christmas spirit very much. And Hal's like, you like stuff, though, right? He's like, I have to have it. And Hal's like, why? And Larfleeze says, this list is important, but Christmas isn't over. Santa could still come. Hal says, Santa's not real. Larfleeze says, yes, he is. He has to be. Hal says, you don't listen, do you? You only hear what you want to hear. Doesn't everyone? And Hal's looking at his list and he's like, a hovercraft? You have a ring that can make anything you can imagine. What do you need something like a hovercraft for? And Larfleeze says, they drive on sea and land. He's like, do yourself a favor, Larfleeze. Look at that list. Look at it close and ask yourself, do I really need it? And then Larfleeze is inside, sitting on the floor in front of his Christmas tree, in front of the fireplace, and he's looking all through his list, and he comes to the very end of the list, the big thing that he said was at the end of his list, and it just says, my family. And Larfleeze looks really sad, and then he lays down on a pillow in the floor, and I assume goes to sleep. Our story ends there. So it turns out that the most important thing, even to Larfleeze, was his family. That's something that people take for granted. It's easy to focus on the materialistic things and to put too much value on those things. You know, some of my favorite gifts, I remember when I got a Nintendo 64 for Christmas. I opened up a game first. I either opened up Mario Kart 64 or Star Fox 64. I want to say it was Star Fox 64. And I was like, well, holy crap, I got a Nintendo 64. And the conversation went something like, how do you know you got a Nintendo 64? I was like, if you just bought me the game, you're an idiot. Because I can't play this without a Nintendo 64. And I did get a Nintendo 64, and I called my cousin, because that's what I wanted. My cousin wanted a PlayStation, and I called him up when we were done opening gifts. I was like, hey, what'd you get? He's like, PlayStation. What'd you get? I was like, Nintendo 64. He's like, sweet. I'm like, I know. It was just good times, man. Those were both two fantastic systems. But, you know, that's as cool as those gifts were, you know, it's not as important as the people that gave the gifts. And it's not as important to receive the gift as it is to give the gift. My wife's favorite Christmas that she's ever had, her and her family, is when she was a teenager. Her and her family would always every year go like spend a weekend in the city, and they'd go Christmas shopping and stuff, and they get all their shopping done like that, and they'd make like this big weekend event about it. And one year, instead of Christmas shopping for themselves, they bought gifts for this family in their town that had something bad happen to them, and they didn't have a way to have a Christmas. And so my wife's family, instead of buying gifts for themselves and each other, they went and bought Christmas for this family. And then they went and gave it to them. And they were like, you know, she's like, that's the best Christmas I've ever had, because just, you know, the look on their faces and how appreciative they were of that. You know, it's like, that's what it's about, man. It's about helping those in need. It's about letting go of your wants and yourself for a freaking second and taking care of somebody else. It's about loving each other. And you know, that's what Larfleeze wanted more than anything else, was his family. Larfleeze's backstory: he's an orphan. He's apparently from a very long-lived species, so there's no telling how long he's been without his family. And you know, that's the thing that he wanted most of all. And he wound up not getting that. So cherish your family. If you're fortunate enough to have a family, cherish them. They are a gift, because believe me, when they're gone, you miss them. So cherish your family, cherish each other, love each other, do things for each other, give, not just stuff, but give of yourself. And in doing so, you might just have the merriest Christmas you've ever had. That is all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you like this video, give me that thumbs up. That helps me get noticed by YouTube. If this is your first time watching, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll know when I've uploaded tomorrow's video. Have a peaceful night, and may you rest in the joy of the season. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night.